Walt Disney presents.
When you wish upon a star, make no difference.
Each week as you enter this timeless land, one of these many worlds will open to you.
Welcome to Discover Magic Podcast. My name's Matthew, and this is my wife.
I'm Amy from Discover Magic Travel, and we are
The Castle Chronicles family.
We're a family of 4 who have 2 boys from a small town in Ohio, and we love to travel.
We especially love to travel to Walt Disney World.
One of our favorite places in the world.
And in today's episode...
So in the previous episodes, we covered things to do at the parks that aren't rides. Mm-hmm. So we figured in the next few episodes, we're going to cover the rides at the parks.
More specifically, we're going to rank rides that we've done or that are available to ride at individual parks. And today's park we're going to start with is...
We're going to start with my favorite, Animal Kingdom.
Here we go again. I'm excited. So,
we'll
no
go
particular
over,
order?
Yeah.
Like,
well, they're kind of like an R order from, least favorite to favorite, I would say, I guess.
Okay.
We'll talk about each ride a little bit. We'll give like the height requirements for the rides for those out there that, are curious if they can take their little one on it or not. And then we'll go from there. Obviously, we'd love to hear from you guys if you agree or disagree with our ranking.
I'm sure most people will disagree with our rankings.
Really?
I think so. I think we're kind of particular when it comes to certain things. So that'll be interesting to see.
Maybe.
So Animal Kingdom is a smaller park as far as rides are concerned. I think
Yes.
there's only 7 real rides there. There
Yes.
are other attractions available, and we covered those, I think, 2 weeks ago in
Yes.
our episode.
Yes.
So if you're interested in non-ride activities, go back and listen to that episode for a few ideas there.
Yeah.
That was also not a completely inclusive list either, though.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And, Animal Kingdom, I think we've maybe said previously, we think is kind of a half-day park. You can almost get everything in that you want to get in a half a day and, have time to go back to your resort, take a little bit of a break, and then go to a different park at night, or maybe have a nice dinner at night. Or if you don't have a park hopper, you can come back to Animal Kingdom. A lot of the lands and the tree at night are beautiful to look at as well.
Especially Pandora. Pandora is absolutely the most incredible place at night with their
Yes.
bioluminescence
Now
all
you got
over
it.
the park. I
Yes,
did get it. We
yes.
actually got to enjoy it on our last trip, so I was really excited.
And the
for
Tree
that.
of Life lit up, too. We haven't seen that in so long.
It's been a while. It's been a
Yeah.
few years. I want to
Yeah.
say, well, we haven't been back to Animal Kingdom at nighttime since, or at least seen Pandora at nighttime since
Yes.
like our very first trip there. So it's been
Yeah.
8 years, something like that. So it's been a while.
Yeah. All right, let's get into it.
All right,
So our least favorite ride
so number 7.
at Animal Kingdom
Do you want to introduce it, or do I?
Triceratops Spin.
The best, worst ride in the park.
No, it's not. It's not bad. It's just, it's like Dumbo.
It is Dumbo.
It's Dumbo,
It's
but
Dumbo
it's a
with the
dinosaur.
Triceratops on it.
Right, exactly.
That's
So
exactly what it
that's
is.
the only way to describe it. I think you can fit probably 4 to maybe even 6 people, 3 in the front, 3 in the back.
Yeah, if you have smaller children, it's much easier, obviously.
Exactly.
When we ride just 3 of us, it's usually you and our little guy in the front and me in the back.
Yeah, or the 4 of us fit in both. But there is no height requirement on it, so you can even take your little baby on it if you want to. And there's a lever that controls going up and down, and then there's a lever, I think the people in the back control like
The
going
tilt.
forward
Yeah,
and backwards.
So nose down, nose up type
Yes.
thing, right? So I
Yeah.
usually sit in the back if it's just us 3, and I pick the nose up, nose down, because somebody's a little picky about heights and how they move up and down
Yes,
quickly.
so I have a lot of fun on that ride.
It is a lot of fun. It is fun.
It's fun.
absolutely
It's fun to do, especially it usually does not have a long wait whatsoever. So just, if you have little ones, some of the bigger rides at the park they might not be able to do. So it's definitely a must do, especially with little ones.
Yeah, and if you're going soon, I would recommend getting on it soon because it's not going to be there much longer, would be my guess.
Well,
It
so
sounds
we
like they're
think.
sounds like they're going to retheme that land specifically. So if you're a big Dino Land USA person, make sure you get into the park there and get on your rides before they close forever.
Yes. Oh, that's a good point. So this ride is located, good point. This ride's located in Dino Land, United States of America.
It is located in Dino Land, United States of America. Does not fit in this park, but we'll talk about that at a different time. But
Yeah.
all right, so that's number 7. Number 6 is maybe controversial for some people, but we put Kali River Rapids at the number 6 spot. From my understanding on the ride, so it is a partially wet ride. And I say partially wet because you're in one of the rafts that spins around as it goes down the rapids. And some seats will get more wet than others.
Yeah, you're in a, so we should probably describe the ride, right? Yeah. So you're in like a big raft. I think it holds probably like 8 to 10 people, give or take. And it's similar to like any of the river raft rides, like a Thunder Canyon or something, where you kind of go down the river and it twists and turns. And if you're lucky, you don't get the waterfall. But if you're unlucky, you can get soaked and get dumped on.
Well, that's right, depending on what you want. I mean, if it's super hot and it's the middle of July or August, maybe you do want to get dumped on. And, maybe you're unlucky if you don't. But the ride is not very long. It was unfinished, right? When they originally started building it, they anticipated it being much larger. They stopped construction about halfway through. So it's about half of a ride.
Yeah. And there is like a fun little downhill, but not too scary, I wouldn't say, for little ones. No. I mean, it's scary for me because I'm a big chicken, but it is not too scary. The height requirement on this is 38 inches.
Okay.
So it's good to know. So you cannot take your little baby on this ride.
No.
But it's fun, especially if you're in Florida in the dead heat of the summer. I think it's definitely worth going on.
Yeah, I wouldn't suggest doing it in the winter. I don't think you won't dry off fast enough, really, to make it worthwhile. So, all right, so that was number 6.
Number 5.
Number 5 is really difficult for me because I really appreciate this ride a little bit more than I think I have in the past.
I would say we found like a new love for it on our last trip.
Yeah.
So number 5 is Dinosaur.
Dinosaur. So for those of you that are Disneyland lovers and haven't ridden Dinosaur, Dinosaur is the exact same ride layout as Indiana Jones, but the theming is not as great, I would say. The ride mechanics and the ride mechanism. We haven't been there yet. We haven't been there yet, but just from videos that I've seen and people that I've heard talk about, it's just not as great.
Yeah, so Dinosaur, also located in Dino Land, United States of America.
It is.
We should describe what the ride is.
So the ride in its essence is supposed to be a time-traveling ship that is being sent back to the Cretaceous era, right before the asteroid. Yeah, well, it's supposedly right before the asteroid hits, and we're going back to find this specific dinosaur called an iguanodon, who is supposed to be the link. Too much detail. You told me to go into detail, which is supposed to be the link to the current dinosaurs and all kinds of discoveries and stuff. So this one kind of backwards scientist is sending us back in time to find this dinosaur. And
so the ride itself,
you get in this truck and you're riding through, and these asteroids and meteorites are falling down all over the place.
Yeah.
And, you're zooming through the jungle, and all these other dinosaurs come out, and it's
a
dark ride.
I would say that the truck holds 4 people in each row, right?
Yeah.
3 or 4 people in each row, and there's a bunch of rows. So it holds a decent amount of people. You do have to be 40 inches to ride this ride. And I would say a little bit of a warning. I think that it can be scary for some little kids.
Oh, for sure.
It's in the dark, and it's in the dark a lot. And then when you do see things, the dinosaurs they don't jump out at you, but all of a sudden the light flashes on them and you're moving fast, and then it gets pitch black, and the guy that's narrating it is yelling come on, we got to get out of here, and it's
it can be intense.
It can be intense. It can be intense.
It throws you all over the place too.
It does.
So I like it because it really just jostles you around whenever you're in the row, especially if you don't bring the lap bar down too tight. You can really get tossed around in the back seat, or
I think it's a seatbelt.
It's not a seatbelt. That was the one big bar that came down.
It's a seatbelt. All
right, well, go fact check us out there. I would guess that I'm probably right.
No.
All right, so I really like that one. I think it's rated a little too low, but there are only 7 rides at this park.
Yeah.
So
no, it's a lot of fun, and I'm also looking forward to trying the ride system at Disneyland is the same for the Indiana Jones ride that's out there. So I'm looking forward to trying that when we're going here in June.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, number 4.
Number 4 comes in at
Navi River Journey.
Which
is located in Pandora
at
Animal Kingdom.
My favorite land of all of Disney World.
So this one was hard to rate because I really love this ride. I love what it is and how calming and soothing it is, but I'm more of a thrill seeker than I am kind of the calm nurturing type.
Yeah.
So this is another dark ride that takes you on a boat, similar to like Pirates of the Caribbean, but it's more relaxing.
Way more relaxing.
Yeah, visual effects everywhere.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, and they do a good blending of, animatronic portions, screen portions. Just everywhere you look is something to see. It's really a sight to behold.
This is a ride that does not have a height limit, so anyone can go on it. It's 2 rows, and you load in. I think you can fit. I think all 4 of us fit in 1 row.
Yeah, I think
sometimes,
so. Yeah.
Or maybe it's like 3 and 3.
Well, it's definitely better now after the pandemic, where they don't have all the plexiglass in between rows and things like that.
This is one of my favorite rides at Animal Kingdom, just because I appreciate like the amount of work that went into designing this ride, the Imagineering, the artistry, the lights, the way that the frogs like leap on the lily pads when you look up. Like, it's so peaceful and so relaxing. And just
it's a very
sit back.
Zen, like Zen
it
moment.
is. And sit back and like appreciate what went into creating that ride when you ride it. Because some people are like, oh, it's boring, it's a boat ride. And
it's fantastic.
It is just think about the people that designed
Those are the same
it.
people who don't like living with the land, but we'll talk about those people
Also,
later.
no comparison
No,
to
it's not.
Navi River
It's
Journey.
not.
But
They're not the same. I shouldn't have said that, other than being a boat ride. But the most incredible part of this ride is the animatronic at the end.
Oh, yeah.
So if you've ever seen the movie Pandora and you know about
Avatar.
Avatar, but it's in Pandora specifically, this takes you through a journey through the Pandora land, and at the end you meet, what's not an avatar is actually a Navi shaman, and she's sitting there and she's talking.
You even know her name?
Yeah, she's singing a song to Awa, which is like their tree of life type of thing in the movie. And it's just incredible. Apparently, it's like the most expensive like animatronic ever created in the history of the world, or something like that.
It's very lifelike.
Very cool. So unless it's down, which it's never been down, luckily for us when we went through. When it is down, she actually drops out of the way, and they play it on a screen, and it's not nearly as impressive.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But it's just one of the best things that the park has to offer, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would say that for some reason, and I think it's because Animal Kingdom. There isn't as much to do at Animal Kingdom. This ride in particular also usually has a long wait time to it, because there isn't a lot to do, and it is kid friendly, and it's friendly for all ages. There's a couple rides there that aren't, or they are, but they have a higher height requirement. So I think that's part of the reason as to why the wait is so long. Like, some people will wait for this ride and be like, I don't know if that was worth the wait.
Well, we've seen wait times of almost 2 hours on this ride.
Yeah, I would not wait 2 hours.
So this is one that, obviously with lightning lanes, you can kind of navigate this one a little bit differently. Yeah. You're able to purchase Flight of Passage.
But not Navi.
But not Navi. So if you're one of the Genie Plus people that get up in the morning and you're ready to book, you're staying on resort, you can book at 7 a.m. If not, you have to wait till the park opens. But if you can get a lightning lane there's really, in my opinion, only 2 rides you want to get a lightning lane for first off the bat in the morning, and that's probably Everest or Pandora.
I disagree.
Really?
I would say the safari fills up really quickly, and I feel like every time we go on Everest, the wait time is not that bad. So I think that the safari is more popular for a lightning lane. Either that or Navi River Journey.
I think the Navi River Journey is harder to get.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So
definitely.
If you're going to book, I think you book Navi right off the bat, because I think you can always get a safari kind of later on. That can be your second lightning lane of the day. So I'd say definitely, you want to, if you have to buy one, buy Pandora or Flight of Passage rather. And I would book Navi at 7, and you're going to get in the park. And as soon as you walk, try and get an early booking time for it, because as soon as you check in, you can get a second lightning lane. Everyone else has to wait 2 hours after park open to book their second lightning lane. Anyways, we've went on a little bit.
Different episode for lightning lanes.
Yeah. So we'll
definitely do that.
Number 3, I think this is rated too high. You probably think it's rated too low.
No.
We're going to go with the Kilimanjaro Safari.
The Safari, yeah. So I think that the River Journey and the Safari are probably tied for 3rd and 4th place, in my opinion.
I have to stop you. if you listen to us 2 episodes ago, we specifically stated that this was not a ride.
It's not, but it is. But even in that episode,
yeah,
I said it is a ride, but it's not a ride. So we're counting this as a ride in this episode. It goes both ways.
If there were more rides in Animal Kingdom, we probably would.
Yeah. So this ride is located in Africa. Mm-hmm. You get on a big truck and it loads a ton of people at once. So that is one good thing. It kind of keeps the line moving.
20, would you say maybe 20 people?
I would say
it can accommodate large parties.
You could probably fit like 6 in each row.
Yeah.
But they don't necessarily cram you in. So like if we have a party of 4, they don't cram another 2 people with us usually.
All right.
So
like
that's
the
really
last
nice.
time we went, we had a party of 3 and it was only us 3 in the row.
Yeah. So, and then...
But can accommodate big parties, right? So if you are traveling with a huge Disney party of 10, 12, 16 people, they can likely fit you all in the same truck, which is great.
Which is really nice.
That's
and
really
there's
great.
no height requirement, obviously. Right. The ride is a little bumpy and rickety, so if you have a baby, obviously you want to kind of hold on tight. But there's no other way to describe it other than it takes you through as if you're on an actual African safari, where you're going through all the different parts, and the driver is narrating and gives you a lot of educational information on these animals, and even knows where to find them and spots them and points them out, and will stop if there's one like close, and will let you kind of view it for a little bit. I mean, not too long because the trucks are all coming behind, so they have to keep moving. But it's
paced
great.
Very well. Yeah.
It's great. And it's a decent, I think it's like at least a 15-minute ride.
Oh, yeah. It can be longer sometimes, too.
So I feel like that's another reason I would use a lightning lane for that. Because you're getting a longer ride. You're getting more bang for your buck, almost, getting a lightning lane.
Also be aware that the safari does close earlier than the park does. So the last safari ride usually leaves about 6:30, and the park may close at about 8.
Yeah.
So you have to be aware to be in ride there. But like you were talking about Close Encounters, if you follow us on Instagram at Discover Magic Podcast, we have a video up where one of the giraffes like literally probably could have eaten out of our hands. It came up and he knew the truck was coming and he's like, I don't care.
He wasn't stopping.
I'm just going to walk right up there and I know you're going to keep going and I'm going to get to the other side of this over here and eat whatever's on the other side. And we got there early. So
it was great.
But I would say that's one that you want to get there early for, right? Because the animals are more in a feeding frenzy. They're usually more active. They're more active in the morning. It's cooler in the morning.
In the morning when it's cooler. When it's raining, we discovered they're way more active.
Love it when it's raining.
Then some people also actually say that the animals are more active at night, like towards one of the last safari times. So I don't know. We've also done it at night.
We have.
I think
winter,
my favorite.
It's not good though, because in the winter, the nighttime safaris you can't really see anything. It's pretty dark.
Yeah, you have to make sure it's still light outside.
But in the summer, you can see just fine.
My favorite one may have been while we were in the rain. I'm pretty sure we looked at each other during that and we're like, this is like the best one we've done so far.
They were all out everywhere.
They're all so active.
Hippos and the rhinos and giraffes.
They were up and moving.
Elephants.
Yeah.
And this time we got to see both the lions laying up on their,
yes,
like the Pride Rock type thing. That was very cool. They were both just laying there sleeping. And we just like a normal house cat, right? They're sleeping everywhere. And
we got to see the new baby elephant.
We did.
There's a new baby elephant.
We have a funny story about that. We'll post that in a reel later this week too, which we think is pretty great. All right.
No, but the safari all in all is 100% worth the wait, the lightning lane, something you must do when you're at Animal Kingdom, really. And no two safaris are the same. So even if you repeat it, if you can do it twice, since if you run out of things to do and you don't have a park hopper and you are stuck at that park all day, do it in the morning and then do it at night.
No, I completely agree. I think our little guy wanted to do it twice this time.
Yeah.
And he's actually never expressed that to us before, but it is different every time you
go on it. Every time.
That truck driver can make or break the situation that you're in, but they're all fantastic.
Yeah, we've never had a bad truck driver.
Never had a bad one. The people on the ride can kind of make or break it too if they're not sitting down or they're trying to switch seats.
The problem is the little ones want to stand up so that they can see and point and they get excited. So actually my recommendation would be to put your little ones on the outside. Yeah. Put them on either edge. Do not put them in the middle of you because they will want to stand up and point and see. So put them on either end so that they're right next to the animals, because a lot of times they stand up and then the driver has to say, sit down, or sometimes they have to stop the truck, and it can make a difference. So yeah, put the little ones on the outside. Just put your arm around them. They'll be good.
All right. So we have 2 left. One is great for, I think, everybody, and one is more thrill-seeking.
Oh, I was going to say, I thought you meant number 2 was great for everybody. I'm
so
like,
we're going to go to number 2 here, and it's Everest.
Yes.
Right. So if you don't know, Everest is for a long time was probably the largest roller coaster at Disney World in general. I think it was the tallest, fastest one they had.
Yeah, I
for
don't
a
know.
long
I don't
time.
know what like the timeline was
I'm
of
not
when
sure
things were built.
exactly either. But we know that Animal Kingdom isn't very old, right?
Right.
I think it was built in like 2008 or something like that. But we're gonna go with Everest. So Everest is
Number 2.
Yeah, Everest is at number 2. I love it. Our little guy loves it. It's probably the first big guy roller coaster he ever
It's a
rode.
roller coaster.
Right, and it is truly a roller coaster.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to give any spoilers to it or anything like that, but the height requirement on that is 44 inches.
44 inches. Yep. Actually, when I think it was like either probably the second or third time we went to Walt Disney World, and he was still little, like 4 maybe years old. I think that was like one of the first roller coasters he went on, and he loved it. It was for the longest time, like you said, his favorite roller coaster there.
Well, and we would ride it over and over
again.
Yeah.
Because the height requirement, he's always been a tall kid. So he's always been able to get on the rides a little bit younger than some kids have.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's 10 and he's as tall as you.
So. Yeah, he's a tall kid. But so if you've listened before, know that I'm a little / big scaredy cat.
You're huge. Yeah.
And I don't like roller coasters. I don't like big drops. I think don't even like heights, although I tend to deal with heights a little bit better.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think heights are a problem because you'll get on a Ferris wheel.
No, not
you
Ferris wheel, but I get on the Skyliner.
Chicago, you went
No, I didn't.
Ferris wheel. Oh, you didn't.
No.
So she doesn't like heights either.
But I do the Skyliner. So
Yeah.
I do things because I don't want to miss out on too much. And if I can just deal with certain things, I can. But I cannot deal with roller coasters. And so I don't experience this ride, but I have several great fond memories watching you and the boys experience this ride.
Sure.
And there's a great spot actually near the exit where you can watch everyone come down the big hill, the main big hill. I assume it's the main big hill on that ride. The one that comes outside.
I would say it's the largest drop.
Yeah. And I have pictures of you guys actually coming down and I can zoom in and see you guys. So
that's great.
I would highly recommend if your kids are thrill seekers and don't mind big roller coasters, it's probably one of the bigger roller coasters throughout Walt Disney World.
Oh, for sure. And the one thing we haven't talked about is like the queue on this ride specifically is probably one of the better ones at Animal Kingdom. So the whole premise is you're climbing Mount Everest, right? And what you're looking for specifically is the Yeti. And in the queue, you get to walk through this Yeti museum, which has like all these cool artifacts, like, hand-drawn things and pictures of Yetis. I've
never seen the queue. I should
and if you don't know what a Yeti is, it's kind of like a Bigfoot, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Or a Bumble. if you know the claymation Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So you're going through this huge like queue with all of these artifacts and these cool pictures. I don't know if any of them are real. It's Disney, so they're probably all made up.
Yeah,
I don't believe in a Yeti anyways, but some of you might go ahead and type that in the comments if that's something you believe in. But no, it's really a neat queue to walk through, and it's probably one of the first queues that I appreciated at Disney in general, because I think it's probably the first one I ever really did. Because that's the first coaster we rode and the first park we went to on our first trip was Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
So
I also will add it, I think, and only based on what our little guy has said, it also can be a little scary. I think he was like scared of the Yeti for the longest time.
There's still a spot that he's kind of like, oh, I don't like this part.
Okay,
cool.
So be warned if you're going to take your little kids on it. There is a spot that could potentially be a little scary with the Yeti, but he still, despite that, loves it and goes on it all the time.
And it is loud on the inside in certain parts, but it's really cool. And you get a great view of the entire park when you get up to the top of the first lift hill, for sure.
And this coaster is located in Asia. And right outside of it, there's like a little bonus. There's like a little place that we love to get drinks. We mentioned it before, so you could do that too after the ride.
Yeah, so that actually changed for us so our oldest, who's now in college, he would be able to take our little guy on the ride with him, and they would ride it multiple times. So little park hack, if you're going to book a lightning lane and there are a couple riders that don't like to ride coasters, or in our situation, Amy doesn't like to ride big coasters, I have no problem doing it, but that gives us 4 lightning lanes. And so we would book all 4, and then we'd let our boys ride once, and then we'd hand our magic bands off to them so they could go a second time. This ride also offers a single rider. So if you have, if you don't mind getting split up in your party and you just want to get on the ride and not wait in queue for that long, you can jump in a single rider and the wait is maybe 3-4 minutes. Like it's really quick to get on and off. So
that's true. There's a great waiting area for those that don't want to ride the ride. There's also a great waiting area right outside of it. That is where like the old
Kite
show
tails?
was. It was kite. Well, before that, there was a light show there.
There's a light show,
remember?
but the kite tails was awful. If you didn't get to experience kite
So
tails,
this-
you were very lucky.
Yeah, this was the arena for that, and there's a whole ton of benches. It's a huge arena.
Yeah, it's like an
the only thing
auditorium.
that stinks about that area to sit is there's no shade.
No.
So you're sitting in the sun, but there's plenty of seating if you just want to relax and sit in the sun for a little
grab
bit.
a drink from the little area and go sit down, have a drink. And
Or there's an ice cream stand right by it too.
There
You
is.
could grab ice cream if
there's
you
ice
don't
cream
want
there.
drinks.
There's
an
Mickey
ice cream
pretzels
stand.
over there. There's all kinds of stuff over there specifically. So
Yeah.
that's great. All right.
Number one.
Number one.
My all-time favorite ride in all of Walt Disney World is Pandora Flight of Passage.
Yes, it's great. I would say it's probably one of my top 3 or 4 in the entire Disney World sphere. We'll get to that ranking later because after we do all 4 of these parks, I'd like to break it down and get like our top rankings of each of the tops,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, so this ride is my favorite. So it's located in the world of Pandora, which is also my favorite land in all of Walt Disney World as well. So
Yeah.
we'll also get into that. It's by the Navi River Journey. So if you can do them both, like if you buy the Lightning Lane for Flight of Passage, and then you get the Lightning Lane for Navi, you can do them
Do it
both
twice.
back to back.
Yeah.
It is a simulated ride. It is a 4D experience, so you will wear 3D glasses.
Flight goggles.
And you are essentially, it is mimicking riding on the back of what they call a banshee or like a dragon or, the big whatever it is in Avatar. Sorry, it's a banshee, right?
Well, we call them banshee, but they have a
call
different
'em
name for it.
Ichneumaya.
No, Ichneumaya is...
Which is it?
No, it is. It's
That's
the actual rite of
the
passage.
rite of
is
passage.
Ichneumaya,
You
right?
can tell we've been on this ride a lot.
Yeah. That's that. And
What do they
Sivako,
call-
which is
Yes,
rise to the
Sivako.
challenge, right?
What's the name of, what do they call it then if it's not the
They're
banshee?
Ecrons.
Ecron. Thank you.
So I
knew
was
it
going to let you
something.
fumble because I love watching you like go, I don't know what the heck that is, and I think it's the greatest thing ever.
Anyway, so you get on it like you're riding a bike, essentially, like a motorcycle. And it straps you in from behind. And it is amazing how Disney created this ride and the effects that it has. And you can even feel like the banshee, I'm just going to keep calling it a banshee.
It's a banshee, yeah.
Breathing.
Yeah,
In
you feel it
between your
breathing between
legs when
yeah.
you go through like peace and then there might be a little conflict and then you go through peacefulness again. You could just feel like if it's tired, if it's resting, it's breathing, heavy breathing. There's smells.
Oh, it's just
there's
incredible.
all the senses. The ride is incredible. It is a 3D experience. It is not an actual, you feel like you're flying or you feel like you're going down hills. I can do those types of rides because I know they're not real.
Because it's a simulated, right?
Right. What bothers me is the actual movement and the hill and the heights. Yeah. But I know I can do these rides because if I close my eyes, it all goes away.
Yeah, but if you do get motion sickness, this is probably not a ride for you.
It's not a ride for you unless you can just close your eyes or look to the right or to the left, and that motion goes away.
Yeah.
So if you're having a spot, like if I don't like the, straight dive down, I'll just close my eyes for 2 seconds and then it's over and then I can experience the rest. So it depends on how bad your motion sickness is.
In reality, if you were to just watch the ride and the mechanisms and how it works, it's like kind of sitting in a rocking chair, but your mind plays such a huge role in what you see, plays such a huge role in how you feel on this ride, right? So it's really feels like you're looping upside down and flying all over the place, but you're barely moving.
Yep.
Your mind is so incredible when it comes to that. And they did such a great job of crafting this ride.
The sights and the sounds, the smells. To this day, we have ridden that ride.
I can't
even count how many times that we've ridden that ride. And to this day, every time I get off of it, I'm still amazed.
Yeah, it takes my breath away. Absolutely.
At how amazing it is. Now, the only little thing I will say about it is I think that the 3D portion of it could be updated a little bit. Sometimes I think it looks a little fuzzy, but I also think that that's where you're placed, like where you're seated, where you're looking at the screen. I don't know.
I think they have specific focal points that they want you to be looking at in the screen. And if you're looking at those specifically, it's crystal clear. But if you look at anything like on the periphery, on the outside of that main spot, it gets kind of blurry.
It seems to be a little fuzzy.
Blurry. But phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
So the only unfortunate thing about this ride is the height requirement is 44 inches. So if you have little ones and they're not 44 inches tall, they won't be able to do it. You can do the rider swap. If you want to experience it as a parent, since you're there, you're doing it, you can do the rider swap where one of you waits with your child, you go on it, and then you get off, and then you wait with your child, the other one goes on. So I would highly recommend doing that. I would like, this is a ride that shouldn't be missed. It just shouldn't.
And let me say this. If you don't get a lightning lane for this ride, or you don't get a chance to buy a lightning lane for this ride, the individual lightning
It's
lane.
not an or. You either buy it or you don't get one. There's no lightning lane option for this ride.
Oh, that's right.
You have to purchase.
Right. So if you don't purchase, you can always stand in the queue, right?
Yes.
This is one that still offers a queue.
Yes.
The queue for this ride is
Phenomenal.
unmatched across any park.
Yeah.
I mean, Rise of the Resistance might be the only one that even comes close as far as theming goes for a queue.
Yeah. The queue is great.
This
in fact,
is incredible.
in our most recent trip, we stood in the queue. We usually
kinda rope
don't.
dropped
We
it a
usually
little
buy
bit,
the
yeah.
lightning lane for it. And we decided to stand in the queue, and we haven't done the queue in a long time. And I forgot how great that queue actually is.
Now, be advised, during high crowd times, this queue can reach well over 2 hours.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah.
It really is. And I still would say, what's like the max wait? What's the max you would wait to get on this ride?
At least I'd wait an hour or more. Now
I would probably wait like 90 minutes.
I have waited 3 hours for this.
That
ride.
was the one at first,
and this was
opened.
very early on, right? And we did wait 3 hours for it, and it was a full 3 hours.
I didn't.
Myself and our oldest son
Yeah.
waited for it. I think you guys were at
We went to Everest. We
No,
went
no,
to
no,
Tusker House,
you were
and then
eating
we
breakfast
took.
at
That was
Tusker
when our
House,
niece
and
was
then-
with us,
yeah.
and she took Anthony on Everest, and the three of us went to Everest, and you and CJ waited for Flight of Passage
Yeah.
for 3 hours.
Yeah.
I don't think that any ride is worth a 3 hour wait. You have so many things you can do in parks. I don't think wasting 3 hours is worth it.
Agreed.
And so everyone has differing opinions on this, but for us, when we travel, especially to Disney, our time is more important than anything. So we will spend the money and buy the lightning lane so that we can save hours of time, which then in turn gets us on more things and can do more things. Yeah. So if you could purchase the individual lightning lane, I highly would recommend that you purchase it.
That will range up to almost like $24 per person, I think.
I actually think it's been pretty low every time that I've purchased it. I really do. It's one of the lower ones.
Okay.
And the only issue with this is if you're staying on resort property, you could buy it at 7 a.m. If you're not staying on Disney World resort property, you have to wait to buy it until the park opens.
Okay. I think that also includes the Good Neighbor hotels. So if you're staying at a Good Neighbor, I think they consider that staying on resort. I'll have to check on that, but I think that allows you to still book at 7 a.m.
Yeah, I'm not
if you're
exactly
staying at
sure.
one of those places. I'm not 100% sure on that.
Regardless, this is a ride you shouldn't miss. You should figure out a way to do it. If you have little ones that can't ride it, you should still try to do it.
Stand in the queue. It's incredible. If you have to stand in the queue, it's incredible, right? It takes you through like the forest of Pandora first, and then it brings you into this cave, and you see all of these like artifacts and like hieroglyphs on the walls and all these cool paintings and things like that. And then it brings you up through this like refined like laboratory setting, right? So the premise of this ride is that they're linking your body with an avatar, which is kind of like a man-made Navi type creature, if you don't know what the movie is. And they DNA link you with an avatar that is currently riding on a Banshee somewhere miles and miles away. And that's what the whole idea of the ride is. But as
you
you're
have to
walking
become an
through,
avatar to ride a Banshee.
Right. Because otherwise they would eat you because we're much smaller than they are. And the avatar are huge, giant, like 14-foot tall people, or humanoid type things. Anyways, but yeah, the lab is incredible, right? There's this huge, like, you see this avatar floating in this big tank.
Yes.
It's
great. It's
phenomenal.
great. The queue is great. I don't know that I would wait more than 90 minutes to 2 hours.
I think 90
for the
minutes
ride,
is probably my max.
2 hours
on
is
it.
probably pushing it.
Yeah, that's probably my max on that one. So that's the entire park.
That's Animal Kingdom.
Rides at Animal Kingdom.
Those are the rides, not the experiences we talked about a couple weeks ago. There are plenty of other things to do, but those are the rides.
The one thing we left out that was an attraction thing when we did the review of that park was the Explorer thing that they do there with the kids, where you get like that little map and you walk around and you talk to the cast members and they talk to you about specific items and things. So that's another thing that you could look at that is an attraction there that isn't a ride. But yeah, the park, we say it's a half-day park. And we feel that you can honestly get through that entire park in probably half a day. If you're going to go early, that's great. I suggest going at night because you get to see Disney parks in general, and we talked about this when we were there last time, are at their absolute peak at night. The lighting, the way the things are at those parks, it's just a completely different feeling from during the day. It makes it feel a little bit slower too. Like maybe there aren't as many people in certain parks at that time of night, but everything seems to slow down, and it's beautiful, especially Animal Kingdom. Animal
Kingdom is definitely a must see at night. It was probably my favorite thing that we did on our most recent trip.
And we don't get an opportunity to see it that often at night. So.
Yeah. It's not as easy access to that park, so I think a lot of people, once they leave, don't come back. Because it's not a monorail, it's not a Skyliner, and the bus ride is long unless you're staying at Animal Kingdom Lodge or one of the closer parks. Sure. So again, you all know it's my favorite park and some of my favorite rides. My favorite land is there, and so just heavily immerse yourself in all of it, and it's great. It's perfect.
All right, so that's going to conclude this week's review.
Yeah, next week we'll do another park. Yeah, Hollywood Studios. We're going to cover all 4 parks, ranking the rides and going over all the rides. Yeah.
So now it's time for everyone's favorite time. What is it? It's game time. It's game time.
Hey, howdy, hey! It's playtime!
Yay! All right, so we're going to play a quick game of Knockout.
Yes.
All right. So premise of Knockout is I'm going to give you a specific item and you're going to choose either this or that, and then we're going to keep choosing other items until we knock out that number one.
The number one item.
Right. Uh-huh. So whatever it might be, Mickey Pretzel or Dole Whip, you'd pick one and then I'd give you another one. So do you want to start or do you want me to start?
You can start.
I can start. All right. So we're going to make it easy because I think we're going to get to... If I stick at Animal Kingdom, we're going to get stuck with Flight of Passage being the number one no matter what I ask you. So I'm going to go to... I'm just going to mix it all up. So I'm going to go Remy's or Mickey's Runaway Railway.
Remy's.
Remy's. Okay, so Remy's or Little Mermaid. Journey of the Little Mermaid.
Remy's.
Yeah, I kind of figured. Okay. Remy's or Soarin'?
Ooh. I don't know. I guess I'll take Soarin'. I don't know.
Soarin'.
I don't know.
Soarin' or Test Track?
Wait.
Soarin' or Test Track? No, I'm going to keep going. Soarin' or Test Track?
That's not
We're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. Soarin' or Test Track?
Soarin'.
Really? Soarin' or Winnie the Pooh?
Soarin'.
Soarin' or Pirates of the Caribbean?
Soarin'.
Oh, you're killing me.
All right, my turn.
All right.
Sorry. I have to look at it from the bigger picture of everything. Like,
what's the bigger picture?
Oh, it's just incredible. The same thing. The sights, the smells.
The people's feet hanging in your face. It's great. It's the greatest ever.
Okay, whatever.
Especially if you're on the outside, like, edges of Soarin', where everything is distorted and the Eiffel Tower, like, has a huge bend in it. Okay, I'm just saying.
It's a great ride, everybody.
So is It's a Small World, right? Okay.
Okay. Haunted Mansion or Pirates of the Caribbean?
You. So if you watched our previous episodes, it's Pirates. Pirates is my favorite ride.
Pirates of the Caribbean. Okay. Pirates of the Caribbean or Remy's?
Pirates.
Pirates of the Caribbean or Space Mountain?
Pirates. Honestly, Pirates.
Okay. I know what'll knock it out. I'm trying not to say it too quickly.
Don't get there.
Pirates of the Caribbean or Cosmic Rewind.
Oh.
If you say Pirates, you're lying.
Oh, it's so tough, right? Because the nostalgia behind Pirates and what that ride is to me, and the smell and the feeling. And,
yeah, it's hard. They're not comparable, but...
And when the cannons are going off and the water's splashing and everyone's going, they're hiding, right? It's Guardians of the Galaxy.
It's Guardians.
Okay, now try and knock that one out.
Ooh, that's tough.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so Guardians or Pirates? No, just kidding.
Pirates.
Guardians or Haunted Mansion?
Guardians.
Guardians or Mickey and Minnie's?
Oh, people are going to hate me.
No.
They're going to hate me.
You're not choosing Mickey and Minnie's.
I love Mickey and Minnie's. But it's Guardians. There's no way I could pick
Guardians or Star Tours?
Oh, that one's actually really difficult.
Star Tours is secretly one of our favorite rides.
Secretly, probably in my top 6 or so. Yeah. It's Guardians. It has to be Guardians.
Okay, this is my final try with Guardians. Guardians or Tron?
Guardians.
Ooh, okay.
Guardians is unlike any coaster I've ever been on in my life. Like, I feel like Tron is very similar, except for the way that you ride the ride. Similar to any ride I've ever been on. But
yeah,
Guardians, and you haven't experienced it.
No.
But it's probably, you know, if you don't know Guardians, right, it spins you in a circle while you're riding a roller coaster.
Yeah.
And they focus your attention on specific areas of the ride so they can really make you feel how they want you to feel.
Yeah.
And the music is phenomenal.
Yeah.
The music is great, right? And it's always a different track every time that you're riding. I think they got 6 or 7 or 8 different songs or something like that. But
yeah,
all off of, you know, the soundtrack from inside. I just got a note that I think I have to wrap up my tangent here. All right, no, but you're honestly right. So we do need to wrap it up here.
we do. It's been fun.
It has been fun. So this was our complete review of the rides only at Animal Kingdom.
Yes, my favorite
so
part.
Come back next week and you can join us for, I think we're going to go to Hollywood Studios next week. I think that's a good place to go for us. So that's been the Discover Magic podcast. If you enjoyed everything you heard today or you want to hear more tips or tricks, please remember to come back and visit us next week. Yes, and if you need help planning your next trip or if you just have questions in general, I love talking Disney. You can find me at discovermagictravel.com. And as always, you can find us on all socials and YouTube at Discover Magic Podcast. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week. Till next week. Bye.